Steve Rambam.
All right. Yes, my name is Steve Rambam, and this was going to be an extremely rapid talk. I've been giving this talk for 18 years. 20 years ago, I was on a panel that covered this topic. 18 years ago, I started with the Privacy is Dead talks. This is my 8th or 9th Privacy is Dead talk. And privacy is now beyond dead. It's a little sad to me that it took an Edward Snowden to make everyone realize that every bit of their life, their digital life, their details of their friends, their family, their likes, their dislikes, where they go, what they do, what books they read, who they associate with, what their politics are, has drip by drip by drip been gathered into databases. I've been speaking about this for some time, but I think Edward Snowden has managed to provide much more graphic examples than I have. I used to point out that with any one piece of information, it's now possible to expand that one piece of information, whether it's a license plate, a telephone number. Today, just taking a picture of your face is enough. And it can be expanded to your name, your address, your phone, your date of birth, your social security number. There is no person in this room, United States person in this room, who I can't gather this information on them within less than 90 seconds. Not just the basic information, how they vote, what religion they follow, what their politics are, but their medical history, what books they read, what music they listen to, what they do for a living, their skills, their salary, their employment, lawsuits, criminal prosecution, everything you've purchased, everywhere you've gone, and more than that, thanks to something called predictive profiling, where you're going to be next week and what you're probably going to be doing. The reason for this is self-contributed data. This is because everything that you do, you talk about, you tweet about, you post, you Facebook, every iota of your life you put out there. As a fellow citizen, it creeps me out. For the most part, I'm a generation older than most of the people in this room. The truth is, when I was your age, you didn't share this sort of stuff. There was an expression when I was a kid, damn, I wouldn't have told that. Now there's nothing that fits within that description. People talk about their sexual activities and their drug use and the crimes. I can tell you when I do an investigation, a criminal investigation, the first thing I do is I go to Facebook. You would be amazed how many people pose with the proceeds of their crimes or put up videos of rapes they've committed. It's not funny if you're the rape victim, so don't laugh. People share everything. I don't get it. As an investigator, thank you very much. But as a fellow citizen, as a friend, as a colleague, it creeps me out. Great example. Last week, there was an article in Wired magazine talking about new interfaces to the IMAP email system. I mean, the most boring article you've ever read in your life. But apparently some people got very excised over it and had a troll fight. And one guy did what you should never, there's two things you should never say on the internet, Nazi or Luddite. And they called this poor schmuck who unfortunately for him had the name You Don't Know Me, called somebody a Luddite. Well, apparently he did know him. Your name is so-and-so and you live in Portland, Oregon. You're pretty shit at triathlons, and last year you humiliated yourself by coming in whatever out of 183. I'm sure your mom, so-and-so, wouldn't be proud to talk about it in her weekly gossip circles. She prefers to think about the days when she lived in Glendale or Pasadena. Instead of wasting time on a short-sighted son, at least you managed to trick so-and-so into marrying you, eh? By the way, she should update her blog, such and such a URL. And it goes on like that for pages. And he ends, so the next time somebody talks about the importance of privacy, you should probably listen, imagine what people can find on you, blah, 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 and then one last zing, you know, his stupid cowboy costume. Listen, this is a guy with no special skills. He got insulted, it was a troll versus troll fight, and that's it. His whole life was on the internet. It's really this easy. And if it's this easy for a guy in the middle of the night commenting on a Wired article. Imagine what I can get on you. People don't care. People put everything on the internet. People share everything. I just made love. This is a thing. This is an app. And by the way, here's the locations. And I have to tell you, if you zoom in, half of these locations are parking lots. I saved the sickest one for last. PMS Buddy. This is a thing. You know, you want to warn your friends, don't talk to me for the next 5 to 7 days. But here's the sickest thing. PMS Buddy, now on Facebook. The little seal there. Great, so people look in, you know, they look at your Facebook page, they want to send you a note, oh, I better wait a few days. Okay, now to be serious. Why should you give a shit? Here's why you should give a shit. Because you never can tell what's waiting around the corner in your life. Look, in the 1930s, people who were left-wing, communist, anti-Hitler people were the good guys. In the 1950s, the same people were put in jail for what they did in the 1930s. There's a book I recommend that you read called 3 Felonies a Day. It talks about how everybody in this country inadvertently commits 3 prosecutable crimes a day. It's really true. Maybe not 3, but 1 a week is enough. I can tell you that if I, as an investigator, target you, I will find something you can be arrested for within a couple of weeks of looking. Changed attitudes about dissent. When I was growing up, people understood that you're allowed to make a mistake. You get a reboot in your life. If you're a teenager, it's your job to screw up. It's your job to do something stupid. There's no sense of humor anymore. I can tell you that the U.S. Department of Justice is not about prosecuting bad guys, arresting bad guys anymore. And it pains me to say this as their colleague. It's about winning and losing. Once you are brought to the Department of Justice and arrested, it's all about making you plead guilty. 98.5% of all people arrested and prosecuted by the federal justice system in this country plead guilty. 98.5%. I can promise you 98.5% are not in fact guilty. The minute you go into, there's a saying in federal law enforcement, you can beat the charge, maybe, you can beat the charge, you can't beat the ride. And what they do to you is, from the very first moment, they begin to destroy you. They confiscate all your money as proceeds of a criminal enterprise. So you can't afford an attorney, you can't afford an expert, you can't afford me. You can't afford bail. You sit in jail. You can't assist with your defense. As far as assisting with your defense, they don't give you the evidence until a nanosecond before the trial. And they give you an offer that is so widely disparate on how much time you might spend in jail. If you plead guilty, you get 18 months, you get your money back. If you don't plead guilty, in the case of Aaron Swartz, 35 years. Plead to something, maybe you get probation or go to jail. Let me tell you, it is bullying of the worst order. And I want to tell you what was done to Aaron Swartz, and he and I had a lot of mutual friends. What they did to Aaron Swartz was drive him to suicide. They did the equivalent of kicking a little harmless puppy because he was barking too loud. What did this kid do? He went into a broom closet with a bicycle helmet over his face. That's the best he could do to be a master criminal. And he was facing 35 years in jail because he had the temerity to hire an attorney and spend the money that he made and fight. If you fight, they don't care if you're innocent at that point. They have to crush you. They have to make an example out of you. The culture in this country has changed for the worse. Assuming that you're a good guy and you're a good girl and you're doing things for the right reasons and you think you haven't committed a crime, it's not good enough anymore. You cannot allow yourself to be put in a position where you can be made a victim for no good reason. You have the Obama White House asking for details of people who opposed its policies. You have Operation Choke Point, which I'm going to tell you about in a second. Storage is damn near free now. And I can tell you that every governmental agency saves everything. And every governmental agency hoovers up everything. I do it as an investigator. Once you put a piece of information out there, It's not yours, you don't own it anymore, and you can't get it back. You can't. You can't change your mind. You can't say, you know what, I changed my mind. I want privacy. I want anonymity. And we're going to be talking about how difficult it is to be anonymous and to be an anonymous whistleblower. It's a real job. 1939, this was a Stop Hitler rally. This photo was taken by the NYPD Red Squad. This photo was used to go after the people in the rally 15 years later. What you do today might bite you in the ass 15 years from now. Operation Choke Point is the best example I could come up with. After this talk, go and learn everything you can about Operation Choke Point. This is not black helicopter stuff. This is from the Washington Post. The Obama administration has been pressuring banks to shut down financial services for absolutely legal industries that it disagrees with. This is the current state of things in America. And by the way, it can be as simple as somebody going, oops, except the federal government never says oops. They never say I'm sorry. Of the 300 complaints, the last 300 complaints filed against FBI agents with the OPR, their Internal Affairs Unit, not one was upheld. Not one was upheld. According to the Department of Justice, FBI agents don't make mistakes. That's a real thing. FBI checks wrong box, places student on no-fly list. Now, by the way, if you know about this case, it took 7 years of litigation for this poor girl to find out about this, and the witnesses that she was going to bring in for the trial were put on no-fly lists the week before, so they couldn't come in. Yeah, it's funny, you know, witness in a no-fly trial, put on a no-fly list. It's not so funny. It's not so funny. This is a new country. This is a new way of doing things. Dissent, inconvenience in governmental agencies is not tolerated anymore. And you need to start thinking about your information and your lives differently. This is not a happy talk we're going to be having today. Here are your problems. Cameras, drones, facial recognition, info capture. Cellular phones are the big paradigm changer. Massive databases, nothing being thrown away. Profiling of persons, and the last is the most important. We're actually going to probably cut out about 100 of the slides so I can make sure that I'm talking to you about de-anonymization. You think that if you use Tor, and if you use a public Wi-Fi to connect to the Tor, and you use a clean laptop that you've scrubbed and you're only using for your whistleblowing, you can't be identified. Nothing could be further from the truth. There's now device fingerprinting. There's now forensic linguistics, which lets me identify who wrote something just by massive comparison of other posts to the net. There are dozens of ways that you can be de-anonymized. One critical point I'd like to make before we really start rolling. When I used to give this talk, I used to say, you know what? We're only going to talk about private databases, stuff that I have access to and other PIs have access to and a skilled hacker has access to. We're not going to talk about any of the governmental databases. Let me tell you why that's not a valid thing to say anymore, because there's no difference. The U.S. government today outsources its privacy invasion. Axiom, InfoUSA, all the three credit bureaus, Google, Facebook, especially Microsoft, including Skype, all provide information to the U.S. government. All. There is no difference. If you put something on Facebook, it's the same as you CCing it to the NSA. There is no difference. One thing that Snowden talked about, which was important, anybody who doesn't share or who doesn't share quickly enough with the government says, no problem. They tap a cable, they write a script, and they suck it up. I can tell you that I have a computer in my office doing nothing, 24/7, 365, but grabbing Facebook pages. Nothing. I have millions and millions and millions and probably tens of millions of photos in my office, and I'm going to show you some stuff. I guarantee you that the U.S. government has every single Facebook page, every single one with every single entry. And it's already been reported they tapped the cables right into Facebook, the data pipes right into Facebook and right into Google. Anything that you put up on the internet, there's no segregation anymore. There's no private information, public information. There was a case, USA versus Jones, where the Supreme Court quite correctly said, if you put a GPS device on a car, you've got to have a warrant. Can't do that anymore. FBI said, no problem. They just started going to the phone companies and getting the GPS devices off the phones, which is 100 times better. It's with you all the time. If you leave a car, you leave the GPS on the car. Nobody leaves their phone. 64% of people in America sleep next to their cell phone. 64% of those same 64% of people check their cell phone the first thing they do when they wake up. Maybe they scratch themselves, and then they check their cell phone. Nobody makes a secret about it. Here is fedbizops.gov. These are business opportunities. Things that, these are RPFs, requests for purchases, things that the United States government wants. This one, I mean, they announce what they're doing. They want to grab YouTube clips and video everywhere on the web and have interpretation of that, which I can tell you smart cameras can already do. People are fighting, people are driving, people are at a demonstration, people are giving an interview. You can now run a clip through analysis, and actually run millions of clips through analysis, and it will say, this is a clip with Bob Jones, and he's at a demonstration. Not a problem. All of the major companies have special governmental units for selling stuff to the governments. Here's, by the way, Google Government Services. Now, the funny thing is, by the way, there's an outfit called Pando, and when they put that up, Google immediately took down all the things they're doing for the government and just put up a generic page. They're still doing the same stuff. Facebook, let me tell you, Facebook is profiling and analyzing its members now in a way you can't even imagine, beyond what Big Brother dreamed. It's determining from postings and from content and from phrases your politics, your friends, your family, your associates, whether you're an activist or not, what you believe in, what you do. And the U.S. government is right now not just gathering information, they're determining how to use it to influence people and to direct events, how to make a mob that's going left go right, how to make people support policies. It is the most insidious evil thing imaginable. And Facebook wants to get U.S. government contracts. So recently, they ran a test. If we put certain postings, if we take in the name of your friend and we send you a certain type of posting, will that make you do X? Will it make you do Y? And they tried it a million times. This news just came out very, very recently. Why is Facebook doing this? Because they want to make you happy? Because they want to make you sad? No, they want to give customers, with a reason to use this, the ability to influence people's emotions and actions. Facebook has a cell phone now. A cell phone is the biggest privacy invader there is. Facebook has a cell phone that can turn on the microphone, can listen to words, can determine what you're doing, what music you're playing, what TV. They say it's what music you're listening to, what TV show you're watching, so on and so forth. I don't care what the reason is. I really don't. This is outrageous. This is all new stuff. They are matching people. They are developing marketing that is the most finely targeted marketing imaginable. Facebook involves friending people and associating with people. Unless you are a remarkably open-minded person, which 99% of the world is not, you associate with people who are like you, who think like you, who like the things you like, who believe what you believe. If I don't know anything about you and I see your 10 closest friends, I know everything about you. And that's a fact. You can send Facebook a list of numbers. They will tell you everything about the person at that number. Metadata is child's play compared to what Facebook does. Things are serious today. And I want to say this. If you're horrified by NSA gathering your metadata, you should be insane. You should be marching with pitchforks and torches about what Google and Facebook is doing. Because number one, let's face it, they have less right and less need for it. If you're upset about the U.S. government doing this, honestly, the one opinion I'll express today, you should be insane about Facebook and Google doing it. Amazon is the new repository for CIA data files. And at the same time, there's an Amazon phone, and if you look at what Amazon Fire TV does? It has a microphone. It listens. You cannot turn the microphone off. It sends your commands and your speech to the Amazon servers. Can't do anything about it. Nothing. And by the way, there's no off switch. There's no off switch. They learned something from the iPhone. You can't power it off that easily. I give a 2-day seminar on this general topic, which is called computer-aided investigation. What investigators and law enforcement and special agents need to know to use these tools. I'm giving you guys the Reader's Digest version of this, and I still can't fit in more than about 10%. And by the way, there's some stuff I wouldn't mention also, but never mind. Cell phones, indexing videos, speech to text, cameras, efforts to create target marketing, but especially, your data is worth money. Google and Facebook and Microsoft and everybody else out there will do whatever they can to get you to tweet and check in and blog and post and contribute as much of your life and as many of your photos and every other bit of data as you can. They will push you and urge you and tell you, hey, your friends posted 5 more photos. Why don't you tag these photos for us? It's worth money. It's always about money. Always. And there is no forgetting. Nothing. No data ever goes away. This is a slide I've put up every time I've spoken for the past 8 years. This is a guy who tweets every minute of his life. And you know what? It's not that unique. I look at some people that tweet 50 or 100 times a day. 50, I mean, there are people with 20,000 tweets. How is that possible? Facebook. 1 out of every 5 minutes you spend online, you spend on Facebook. 1 in 2 minutes on social sites on Facebook. People on Facebook are terrorized into using their real names, their ages, their email addresses, and to contribute, and it's never thrown away. Never. And Facebook is colonizing the web. That's their term, not mine. Every time you click on a like button, every time you use your Facebook login to make a comment or to log into another site, you contribute to the massive store of data that Facebook has. Open graph. And Facebook has absolute contempt for you. Every time you push Facebook back a little bit, every time they take 1 step back in terms of privacy, believe me, while you're not looking, they do 2 steps forward. And it's not just actual subscribers. They are building shadow profiles of everyone who's not on Facebook, everyone who you reference in your posts, everyone through marketing databases they connect to you, or buying up the entire TransUnion Credit Bureau file, they can connect to you. They know, even if your mom and your dad and your sister and your brother and your wife or your husband or whatever aren't on Facebook, they know who that person is. And by the way, your friends rat you out. This is a Facebook warning, which I guarantee you maybe 1% of even this room has seen. This is all the information that your friends contribute on you. If you don't put it out there, other people do. Facebook bought Face.com. Probably at that time the best facial recognition program in the world, and they've made it even better. And let me tell you why. I don't know, can you see this little tiny dark thing there? That's all the photos held by the U.S. Library of Congress. Okay, next one, Instagram. These are Instagram photos. Next, Flickr, and this is Facebook. There are, and this is an actual, so help me goodness statistic, 1 billion photos uploaded to Facebook every week. 1 billion photos, all of which are tagged and identified and facially recognized and add to this incredible store of intelligence agency level intelligence about you. People post everything. I don't know how many of you remember this. Guy duct taped his kid for talking back to him. And he posted it on Facebook. Now, by the way, of course, he got locked up. He lost custody of his kid. But what the hell? I have pictures I can show you of people who robbed a bank in South Carolina and put up on their Facebook page holding the money, a gun, and a bottle of liquor. Even if you don't make a posting, Both Facebook and Google save your drafts. If you're just typing, even if you don't save the draft, if you delete it, it's still there. I want to tell you that I've seen law enforcement subpoenas executed on Facebook and on Google. And what was returned and the sources of it, some of it I'm not going to tell you. But I'm going to tell you that it is such critical information and such remarkable information that major law enforcement agencies today task an agent to do nothing but be their Facebook agent and their Google agent. Sit in the Facebook and Google headquarters and handle all the requests for information and expedite the really, really important ones. I can tell you, if you go and you pull up a thing on Google to start writing an email, and you change your mind, even if you don't save it as a draft, you start typing and you say, nah, I'm not going to say that. It's saved. And there's a lot of examples like that. A lot of examples. 85% of Facebook traffic today is on mobile devices. So they already know a lot about you. They get the information from your phone. 87% uses Android. And I mean, this is during Zuckerberg's deposition, during the famous Winklevoss-Winklevi litigation. This is what Zuckerberg said about his original Facebook. I don't know why they give me all this stuff. They trust me, dumb fucks. Google has enough storage space to keep every web page in RAM. In RAM. Google has 600 PhDs. Google uses more power than the entire city of Salt Lake City. At 2 points during the past 2 years, they had more ready cash on hand than the U.S. government. That's no fooling. No fooling. Google is not just search. Google is everything. Everything. Groups, Gmail, Google Voice, Android on 87% of the phones. If you use Chrome, if you use Google as an ISP, if you're in Kansas City, you have an unbelievable, wonderful, or Tulsa or any one of the places where Google Fiber has been put in, you have an unbelievable connection. You have super whiz-bang fast connection for almost nothing. And Google views all your damn traffic. And this is what they want to do. They want to know everything that you do and everywhere you go and everything you look at and every interest you have. And they know on a regular basis your physical location, and they never throw that away. NSA metadata pisses you off? Nothing compared to Google. And frankly, nothing compared to Facebook or Twitter either, which I'm going to demonstrate. Every time you use an app, you download an app, you express an interest, it adds to their store of knowledge about you. You check for apartments in Brooklyn. You go to Yelp and find a Chinese restaurant. You search for an abortion clinic. You search for an address at 2 o'clock, and at 3 o'clock at that address there's an Occupy Wall Street demonstration. They know everything there is to know about you, or it's only one step away from extrapolating to that. Everything. Everything, everything. Google now has peer-to-peer monitoring of cell phones. If I don't know exactly where your cell phone is at, because the GPS-A didn't kick in, it's only GPS, and I can only tell within 1,000 feet, or 1,000 yards rather, no problem. I know you're right next to Bob's cell phone, and I know where Bob's cell phone is at. This is a patent filed by Google, using other cell phones to monitor other cell phones. I mean, it's a mesh setup, it's nothing unique, but it's being used for monitoring and data gathering now by Google. And tell the truth, is there a single person in this room who wouldn't be outraged, who wouldn't be throwing things if the NSA was doing this? But Google, yeah, we're cool with it. Hey, do no evil, right? We'll get to that. Everything. For those of you who used Goog 411, you know, find me, Hotel Pennsylvania. I'm sorry, did you say Transylvania? And finally, they made it perfect. And they did that for only one reason. Not because they love you. Not because they wanted to give you real, you know, free 411 and save you $1.95. It's because they wanted to use your input millions and millions and millions of times to perfect perfect speech to text so they could run conversations for the government and sell it. And that's exactly what they did. That's exactly what they did. But I'm going to tell you that Google uses every damn trick they can. They put out the best damn APIs. They want you to interact with their system because they get more information. They want you to design for them. They want you to use the Google URL shortener. Why? Because everybody who clicks on it, A, you've directed them to that, and B, they know what you're interested in because you've used that particular URL shortener. Google glasses. Google patent filing would identify faces in YouTube. It's not news anymore. But if the NSA did this, you would freak. Google did it, you're cool with it. I don't get that. Google is a private industry. You have no control over their data. Once the information goes into Google, it is a private business record. In fact, the US government can track you 24/7 using telco information because it's private business records. They can't put a GPS on your car. But Google started with satellites, GeoEye, about 5 years ago. Google has now bought up a company, and they are going to have 50 satellites in orbit by 2017. Google will have more satellites in orbit than the entire United Kingdom. Everybody uses Google. I tell people there are two Rambam's laws. Rambam's law number one, you are what you Google. Everybody Googles their name. Everybody Googles their address. Everybody Googles their phone number. 31% of people, God knows why, Google their social security number. I have no idea why. People Google how to commit murders. People, a husband and wife arrested about 2 weeks ago because their son died in a hot car. The dad is in trouble because he Googled leaving a child in a hot car. These people, this little girl is dead. A couple of people strangled her. These two knuckleheads Googled how to strangle somebody. Everybody Googles everything. Let's talk about do no evil because I want to make my point. Contempt. I mean, the all-mail folder, monitoring, Street View, going onto private roads, going into private businesses, scanning every copyrighted book, grabbing every news. Newspapers are dying. Newspapers are dying. And Google is one of the big reasons. You can go to Google News and read any article without buying the newspaper. Google Street View, by the way, let me zoom in on that for you. There you go. Apparently it's okay if they take a photo. Data harvesting. They sent out Google Street View cars, sucking up passwords, sucking up Wi-Fi locations. Why? They need those damn Wi-Fi locations to position your phone if the GPS doesn't kick in. That's their version of Skyhook. Just a show of hands, I'm curious, because this was actually news to me until a year ago. How many people know what the all mail folder is? You delete mail in Google. You think it's deleted, right? Nope. They just move it to the all mail folder where it sits there forever. For those of you who didn't know about the all mail folder, open up Google, look at everything you think you deleted in the all mail folder. Google is very, very open. We can suggest what you should do next, what you care about. Imagine. We know where you are. We know what you like. A near-term future in which you don't forget anything because the computer remembers. If I look at enough of your messaging and your location and use artificial intelligence, we can predict where you're going to go. Show us 14 photos of yourself and we can identify who you are. You think you don't have 14 photos of yourself on the internet? This is Eric Schmidt, Google's CEO. They're upfront about it. Hey, we're screwing you, but we're doing it because we like you. Everybody does the same thing. Amazon knows everything about your likes, your dislikes, your finances, and your actual physical address. Banking. Everybody's horrified that the US government knows everything about your finances, that there's something called FinCEN that gathers all your financial data together. Horrible. Let me tell you, 75% of the identity checking and financial data gathering that the US government uses is gathered by Equifax Banking Services, a credit bureau. And they sell this information. When I'm hired by a client, hey, find me somebody's bank account, the first thing I do is I pull an Equifax banking report on them. I see what banks check to see if Bob is really Bob. Probably Bob has a bank account there. Sometimes I even get Bob's safe deposit box there. Rambam's law number 2. All data will eventually be used for unintended purposes. You may think you're putting something out there that's innocuous and unimportant. Wrong. It can be repurposed, and we're going to talk about that. I'll give you a perfect example. I track down fugitives and missing kids all the time using Domino's and Papa John's. You call Domino's, I know where you are. You had a pizza delivered there. You think you're on the run with your cell phone? I can't ping it because you turned it off? No problem. Sooner or later, you're going to order a pizza if you're under the age of 21. The Holy Grail, there's 2 Holy Grails for investigators and marketing companies. Your picture and where you are and what you do when you're there. And all of these things track. Microsoft, Apple Store, even Windows Media Player, everything. If you use Wii, if you use a browser, I mean, every time that you log in, every time that you authenticate, and even when you don't, even Wii reports where you are and what you're doing. TiVo, TV, everything. You drive a car, Easy Pass, SunPass, OnStar. Most of the stuff you guys know, but you don't know that this all gets aggregated into larger databases of information. Unique serial numbers in everything. We're going to talk about this. Every single damn thing that you do digitally generates or is from something that has a unique serial number. GPS is now good enough that I can not only tell what corner you're on, what intersection, but which of the 4 corners in that intersection you're standing on, especially if you're in New York. Right now, everybody is migrating to cell phones. Facebook. As Facebook tilts to mobile, 575 million people around the world use the social network every goddamn day. 750 million people report their location, their exact location within meters to Facebook every day. Google services, 87% of the people who use Google. Amazon just introduced the cell phone the other day. This is the name of the game. And they're doing everything that they can do to hoover up your location, every possible way. If you're in an urban area, they use Skyhook, they use Wi-Fi, they use P2P location. They use everything they possibly can to determine where you are 24/7. Why? Because they want to see what you're doing, what's of interest to you. A cell phone will report to me your location history, who you hang out with, where you go. Do you go to a demonstration? Do you go to an abortion clinic? Do you go to a bookstore 10 o'clock at night? Are you alone? Are you with somebody else? Are you getting on an airplane? Cell phones tell me every damn thing I need to know about you. As an investigator, if I have your cell phone stuff, I own you. You're owned. And I got to tell you, you're pissed off because the U.S. government has your location data. A, not such a big deal. I think everybody knew they had it anyway. And B, Google and Facebook have exponentially more connected to your cell phones. It's not just your cell phone connection. It's not just when your cell phone is telling a tower, hey, here I am, here I am. You're also broadcasting your Wi-Fi, and you're also broadcasting your Wi-Fi activity. There are now law enforcement and military and police programs that can target a geographic location. If I want, I can target the Hotel Pennsylvania, and I can identify every cell phone in this room. I can identify 95% of the people attending a Steve Rambam talk. No problem. I can identify 95% of the people that walk into a high crime location, a crack house. I can identify 95% of the people who attend a perfectly legal demonstration. You report your location all the damn time. If you're mad at the IRS, you should be insane about Twitter and Facebook and Google. Stop it. Stop it, stop it, stop it. And every single tweet is now public record. Every tweet ever made, back to tweet number 1, is turned over to the Library of Congress. I think that's a wonderful thing. I think it's great, citizenship that they're willing to do that. It tells enormous things about the world and how things evolved and what people cared about. 100 years from now, people are going to be able to look at these tweets and learn remarkable things. And demented things too, but remarkable things, because honestly, social movements get tweeted, politics get tweeted, Everything that people care about and that are trending topics get tweeted. It's really obvious. But on the other hand, if I grab all these tweets, which I can assure you I've already filed a FOIA request to get every tweet in the hands of the Library of Congress, I will know everything that you do and everything you care about, and everywhere you go. You've deleted your Twitter account. You haven't deleted it from the Library of Congress. You've gone off. You've turned off your location services. You're no longer reporting your GPS. No problem. Before you did that, I got your house. No problem. Again, you can never make information disappear. Stop now while you can. Every damn Wi-Fi you connect from, unless you've really gone to the trouble of changing all your settings on every device, is saved. How many people here have an app, either Android or iPhone, called Flashlight? Not that many, thank goodness. About 50, I'm going to say, out of the hundreds or more people in this room. Of those of you that have Flashlight, how many of you read the terms of service? Two hands. One, two. Do you know that Flashlight, which does nothing more than display a white screen so you can see where you're walking? I mean, you can open an email, a blank email, and accomplish the same thing. It doesn't make your screen brighter. It just simulates a flashlight. You are transmitting your location. You are giving access to your camera. You're giving access to all your phone calls, and you're giving access to your UUID, your unique identifier, just for downloading this free Flashlight app. Why does Flashlight need your identity, your location, your camera, and all of these other intensely sensitive things? Because nothing is free. Yes, you've downloaded the free Flashlight app, and they're making millions of dollars off of you by harvesting this information. 45% of all apps report your location. A third of them access either your camera or your microphone. If you're mad at the NSA, you ought to be insane over this stuff. Here is, I put up that thing, Rabbi, before, that tracks you and reports on who you're hanging out with based on Wi-Fi. Here is the U.S. equivalent. It profiles you, it targets you, and it reports your behavior. And it combines your email, your web browsing history. It de-anonymizes your browser. It gets your tweets. It gets your social networking activity. Everything, and it puts it in one nice little package. There's now a federal word for this. Federal law enforcement now has something called data valence, where they surveil you and they know everything about you and where you are and what you do and who you hang out with just from data. It can even report Target has passed his phone onto someone else. Why do you think that is? Oh, gee, I'm going to leave my iPhone at home. I'm going to do like Snowden did. I'm going to put it in the microwave. I'm going to put on my tinfoil hat, and I'm going to get a drop phone from 7-Eleven. Within one day, anybody who really gives a damn about tracking you knows that's your drop phone. Because your drop phone spends the night in Bob's house, and the drop phone calls Bob's girlfriend, and the drop phone goes to Bob's job, and the drop phone goes to the bookstore that Bob always goes to, and the drop phone is correlated with ALPR data in Bob's car. Devices have profiles. You have a profile. There is no such thing as anonymity. And it's a bitch to be a whistleblower, and we're going to get to that. Here is precise data everywhere you've gone and everything you've done. By the way, just for a test, they pulled in 1 billion records. Just a quick test, 1 billion records. The feds now have a term called community of interest. Community of interest. It's a bunch of people they want to check out, sort of like a hacker convention. No joke. Hacker conference, Occupy Wall Street, bunch of people who don't like Obama. I mean, community of interest. This is their new term. And here is an example. And what is their program called for a community of interest? So help me God, the program being used by the feds now is called guilt by association. When I said before they have no sense of humor, one guy has a sense of humor. And this is what it looks like. This is link analysis. This is who you're talking to on the phone, who you're emailing, who you're visiting, who your Wi-Fi is near, where you go, what you do, what you can be sold. They even have mobile location value chains now. I mean, this is amazing. This is the main thing I want to point out, because we're going to go through this really fast. No device dependency. No device dependency. In English, what that means is, no matter what you're using, no matter your communication tool, no matter whether you switch phones, switched MAC addresses, switched your MiFi, switched whatever, they can identify you. And trust me, it really, really, really works. Really, really works. Cell ID, accuracy within 100 meters, assisted GPS, AGPS, which by the way is now called GPS-A, within 15 meters at worst. Speed, slowest 30 seconds. I know where you are exactly at worst 30 seconds ago. Every single app that you download and you use tells me something about you. Barista, Cellfire, Compare Me, Loan Shark, you're looking for loans, you're looking for bars, you're looking for apartments, you're looking for jobs, whatever. Whatever you do tells me something about you. And it's buffered, and it's analyzed, and it's cross-referenced. You go, Siri, find me a porno house. They buffer that. Every single bit of data is saved and buffered. And your cell phone is a loyalty card and a payment device and a barcode reader and a store guide and an eBay or an Amazon portal, manufacturer syncing, retail object recognition, especially you, Mr. Google Glasses, backup of all data to the manufacturer. If you've got a Google phone, you can't, and an iPhone for that matter too, you can't, never mind you paid $600 for the damn phone and it's your address book. You want to sync, you got to sync through their program. If it's Google, you got to send it to the mothership and they send it back to your phone. Anyway, that is the size of the largest GPS now being used in phones. That is, it was much bigger. That has now been upgraded, not that exact one, but ones like it. They're even looking at things like GPS darts. If somebody is a rioter, they shoot with an air rifle, they tag you like a moose so they can follow you from the riot. Right now, if a stolen car is evading the police and being chased, and it's not acceptable to continue the police chase, they just shoot the car with a dart, gets stuck in the trunk, they follow it 5 blocks back, the guy thinks he's lost the cops, he ditches the car, they're on him like white on rice. It's unbelievable. They're developing something now called GPS dust. GPS dust that they're going to put on you, small enough that, you know, investigator walks past you, poof, until you change that shirt, I know everywhere you are. You can't put a GPS on a car? Everybody has their cell phone glued to their ass. It is their Star Trek communicator pinned to them. Now, profiling people. There are tinfoil hat area. I say that because this is the scariest stuff. This is the scariest stuff. Target marketing. Every book you buy, every music you listen to, song you listen to, every place you go, every credit card charge, every OnStar, every Easy Pass, every swipe of your subway card, it's buffered. Now let me tell you, not just the feds. Let's talk about New York City for a second. New York City is adding 7,000 to 12,000 cameras a year. All networked, all with facial recognition, all part of what's called the domain awareness system. The NYPD has the most remarkable facial recognition system you've ever seen. They make thousands of arrests every year from cameras matched to photos. They sell that system to other police departments for $30 million. It's so good. You want that system, you got to pay the NYPD $30 million. You use your Easy Pass when you go through the Brooklyn Battery Tunnel, when you go over the George Washington Bridge, and it's reporting your location? Yes, it does. But also through 284 locations in the 5 boroughs, where they have Easy Pass readers that log when your car goes past. Choke points, Lower Broadway, 125th Street and Lenox Avenue, there's one. There's 12 halal carts, those Muslim food carts that are really undercover food carts that are recording Wi-Fi, recording Easy Pass, and recording cell phone activity, and filming, by the way. And they move them near demonstrations and near sensitive zones. So if you're at Occupy Wall Street, don't eat the shawarma. That's all I'm saying. ALPR, automatic license plate readers. There are 400 in the city of New York. 200 are stationary, 200 are mobile. Every parking lot, every street. There are the 2 forward-facing cameras on the back of police cars. They can film 60,000 license plates an hour. If I want to know where your car was parked 2 weeks ago, not a problem. It's in the system. And by the way, it's a private company that gets all these photos, even when the police take the photo. Everything there is to know about you, the marketing companies want to know. Are you straight? Are you gay? Are you Republican? Are you Democrat? Are you black? Are you white? Christian? Jewish? They want to know this. Now, frankly, kind of creeps me out. If you are over the age of 21, they've been gathering data on you already for 7 years. They start your first year in high school, where you go to school. Once you go to college, they start offering you things like credit card offers and book deals and travel and Cancun and things like that, and they get more and more and more information on you. By the time you're 21, by the time you're out of college, you're already intensely in their system down to a granular level. And these are all the areas that they gather from and amalgamate. Direct mail, call center, in-store networks, websites, email, displays. I mean, everything, everything, everything you do is aggregated. It's astounding. It's astounding how accurate these marketing extrapolations are. And really, I can find out everything that I want to know. And they have look, Facebook, LinkedIn, MySpace, Twitter. They grab all of that crap. They merge it with your purchasing activity. They merge it with your offline activity. How you can be angry about the NSA grabbing your phone metadata, which is really kind of bullshit, and not be angry about this is beyond me. Not be furious about this. Everything. How much discretionary income you have, how much money you make, how much money your household makes, what you do for work, what your house is worth, your ethnic code, your religious code, everything, 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 everything. Do you have allergies? Do you have arthritis, cholesterol, diabetes? Are you disabled? Do you do homeopathic medicine? Do you like organic food? Are you a senior with senior needs? And so on and so on and so on. All of this gathered. Are you a new parent? Are you an expectant parent? You know how they know that? Because they buy this crap up from the doctor. How do you think you get a free coupon for Huggies 1 nanosecond after you give birth? That's how. And they just keep going after you. Are you straight? Are you gay? Are you black? Are you white? Are you a Christian? Are you a lefty? What are you? And they predict not only what you like, but what you're gonna like as you age. They know a guy who likes X at 18 probably likes Y at 25 and Z at 35. They're waiting for you. And they really, really know stuff. It's ridiculous. To the point, people who believe in alien abductions are more likely to drink Pepsi-Cola. I swear. They follow every damn thing you do. And let me tell you, when I'm going to your house and I'm questioning you as a witness and I want to know who's opening the door, I do 2 things. I check to see, do you have a gun permit? And I pull your marketing profile. Because believe me, I bullshit like mad. Social engineering, baby. If I know you're a Barack Obama guy, boy, I bitch about those Republicans in the South. If I know that you are a stars and bars waving, Led Zeppelin listening to Southern, 25-year-old male, damn, that Barack Obama's destroying America, isn't he? And it gets me in the door. It does it. This is the most important thing we're going to talk about, and check it out. De-anonymizing data. This is the important stuff for whistleblowing and for your lives. Quick example. I use this all the time, but it's the best one out there. You are what you Google. You are what you search. You are what you have an interest in online. In 2006, the Congress, I guess Lamar Smith, discovered the Internet. Ooh, there's an Internet. And there's this thing called search engines. And they're gathering information on people. What does that really mean? We're going to have a congressional hearing. Your tax dollars at work. So they subpoenaed every search engine. Yahoo, Google. Back then there was something called Hotbot, which is long gone. And AOL was one of the ones. And everybody responded differently. Yahoo said, bite me. Google turned it over. AOL took a middle path. And they said, we're going to give you all the search history, but we're going to anonymize all of the people and their searches. And they turned that over to Congress. Once you turn something over to Congress, unless it's a secret hearing, it's public record. So the New York Times, God bless their pointy little heads, filed a FOIA request for all the AOL search data because they wanted to prove how easy it is to de-anonymize it. Sure enough, you have AOL searcher number 441-7749. Here's her searches. 60-year-old single men, landscapers in Lyburn, Georgia, Shadow Lake subdivision, Arnold, and dog that urinates on everything. So, not brilliant Sherlockian detective work. They went to the Shadow Lake subdivision in Lyburn, Georgia, found somebody named Arnold, who was in her 60s, and had a dog that urinated on everything. And it was her. Not real hard to figure out. That is the most basic level of de-anonymization. You all need to check out this Panopticlick. Spooky. Your browser is unique. It is possible to do something called browser fingerprinting. By the time you've added in the fonts that are unique to your system, and the plugins, and the operating system, and everything else that makes your browser and your system unique, and I'm not talking about the MAC address. I mean, the new Apple operating system, I understand, is going to have revolving MAC addresses. God bless them. They're not doing that, by the way, because they love you and want to protect your privacy. They want to be the only guys that possess the information about what you're doing on your system. Same reason that Google now encrypts Gmail and search. It's not encrypted from them. It's encrypted from anybody else. But Panopticlick, your browser is unique. Absolutely frickin' unique, even if you don't have cookies, even if you delete your browsing history and delete your cookies. There are entire think tanks, primarily selling to the government and to law enforcement, remote physical device fingerprinting. I look at your computer, it's Bob's computer. Ridiculously easy to do. Ridiculously easy to do. Just like photos, you've just got to have the base set. Once you've identified enough computers, you can say Bob's computer, Julie's computer, Mohammed's computer, whatever you want to do. Because you've got the base set and you can match it. And there are companies that do nothing, by the way, today but device fingerprinting, and they have billions and billions of matches. Now that's in addition, of course, to cookies, browsing history, download history, embedded graphics, micro pages, passwords, personal data in search strings. I hate that. You do a search and the entire search, a phone number, a social security number, everything appears in the URL. Thank you very much. Things like Form, which Google is now doing. ISP URL collection. You have Verizon? You use Verizon? You type in a bad URL, it knows exactly what you've done and it sends you alternatives because it's looking at and buffering every search you do, every URL you navigate to, and every ISP does that. Even DNS corrections, routers, man, there are backdoors in routers, and routers are insecure. They really, really are. Flash cookies, respawning, photos. Forget about facial recognition, which I'm going to show you. Facial recognition is really, really, really good. Every photo that you take, every photo you distribute has not just EXIF tags, embedded serial numbers in there. There's something called camera noise signatures. You can strip out the EXIF tags. You can strip out the EXIF tags. You can strip out all the identifying digital information, but you can't strip out the unique fingerprint that your camera sensor has on the photo. You cannot be anonymous anymore. You can't. And as you're going to see, even a tiny portion of your face, even a tiny portion. Now, by the way, this is the area a couple of blocks from here, Bryant Park, in 1998. Few cameras. 2003, few more cameras. 2008, it's almost a black square. Today, 3,800 cameras in that area. If you walk from here to Bryant Park and back, you are shot on camera, estimated 115 times. One of those is going to get a good picture of you. You know that thing that you see in the movies where you go and you have the briefcase and the person you're meeting with has another briefcase and you put him down on the park bench and you pick up that one, he picks up the other one and you go your own way and you've delivered the data? You're screwed. I know who the reporter is. I know the reporter was sitting on the park bench. I got a picture of you meeting with the reporter. Facial recognition, I know who you are. Go to jail. Go directly to jail. Do not pass go. If you guys think I'm making this up, hey, you're smart, smart, smart guys. Do independent research. Everything that's mated with the cameras. If you want to be a whistleblower and you want to get from point A to point B anonymously, you can't. You can't. You drive, gets your license plate. You walk, gets your face. Even if you look like the Elephant Man, you put a bag over your head, you have one eye sticking out, 5% is sufficient for facial recognition, and they also have something called gait recognition now, where they're identifying the way people walk. They can follow anybody. Once you're targeted, they can follow you down the street from camera to camera to camera to camera. And it can analyze what you do. Are you walking? Are you talking? Are you fighting? Are you meeting? What are you doing? What are you doing? 50 states now do facial recognition on every driver's license, every U.S. passport, every gun permit. Every time you submit your photo now to an official agency, it's scanned for facial recognition. Why do you think they tell you not to smile at the DMV? Not that you're likely to be smiling at the DMV, but why do they tell you not to do it? Because the best facial recognition, the best data points are if you're not adjusting your face. You don't walk down the street grinning unless you're a mental patient. So they want you not grinning so they can follow you walking down the street. People get arrested all the time from facial recognition, facial recognition. Now, real world examples. I had a contract to find deadbeat dads in Illinois. I took the pictures, matched them from the deadbeat dad photo to MySpace and Facebook. And I found all the guys, where they were living, what they were doing, where they were working. Illinois collected a lot of dough. Texas sex offenders, people who weren't supposed to be online. Here's his sex offender picture. Here's his Facebook picture. Now, by the way, this guy was the easiest of all. He used his pedophile booking photo as his MySpace photo. A lazy, lazy, lazy child molester. This is honest to God, not a joke. Not a joke. Okay, the point is, you wear a disguise, no problem. Probability 95%. Photo enhancement, it's blurry. That's an actual blurry photo, enhanced. So you wear a better disguise. Any of these areas are sufficient for identification now. You don't need the whole face. They even have something now, so help me God, I mean, it screws me if you look at me, called nose prints. Nose prints. If your nose is sticking out, if you're wearing one of those Canadian, you're Canadian, you know the ski mask where the nose is sticking out so you can breathe? They know who you are. I mean, you rob a bank in Alberta, you're in trouble. Okay, you travel by car. Automatic license plate readers. The guy drives along, forward-facing cameras, sometimes one on the dashboard, 60,000 license plates an hour. Where you're parked, where you're driving, everything you're doing, where your car is. And they are owned, these databases. I use them all the time. I run people's license plates all the time in cases and find out where the car's been parked regularly. And if I find a place where it's parked 2 nights in a row, I'm parked there that night. This is a private system. It's used by automobile repo guys and private investigators and U.S. government and Customs and Border Patrol and the NYPD and the Marshal Service. And I could go on like this for hours. It's so good that now in the United Kingdom, if you haven't renewed your registration and you don't have insurance on your car, in the system, it won't allow you to pump gas for your car. It turns gas off. It looks at your license plate. No car insurance, no gas. True. It's good enough that private industry can target you and micro-transmit to the radio in your car. Hey, you hungry, Bob? There's a McDonald's next exit. Not making this stuff up. Now, Before there was Google Glasses, I predicted that this was going to happen, that people were going to have facial recognition with a little hard drive, and they were going to be able to walk into parties, and some woman, you have no idea who she is, walks up to you, "Hey, Fred, how are you?" And it automatically pops up like, "Julia, husband Bob, 3 kids. You saw her last week at the Christmas party. Hey, Julia, good to see you. It hasn't been that long." Okay, well, Google Glasses 2012. Now you have DARPA glasses. DARPA glasses are ALPR for walking down the street. They're looking for people. They just walk down the street with this. And it looks at everybody's face, finds matching characteristics, puts up an alert, a red line under the head. No, I'm serious. It really does. A red line under the head. You look and you go, "Nah, that's not the guy." You look, "Nah, that's the guy." DARPA's developing this. Here's the worst thing. Digital contact lenses. I am going to be able to walk down the street, this guy, interracial porno. No reason why I pointed at you. Okay. Interracial porno, right-wing Republican, was at Occupy Wall Street last week, federal agent, hacker. I'll know all of that. Digital contact lenses. Law enforcement is already using portable DNA readers, portable facial recognition from license plate databases, portable fingerprint readers. All of these technologies are moving out into the field. Maximum. For the DARPA glasses in the U.S., maximum 2 years that people from tactical patrol forces that respond to riots and demonstrations will be wearing them, and not just checking out are there any wanted people in the crowd that give them a reason to go in and snatch somebody, but they will be photographing everybody in the crowd and indexing the person. They will know from cell phone signals. By the way, in 2012, I talked about how everybody's cell data was grabbed at the Occupy Wall Street demonstrations from tower dumps. Everybody went, not true. 3 months later, it was reported in the Times. I'm telling you that this is what's going to be done. Everybody who attends a demonstration is going to be identified. Everybody. No anonymous demonstration. I mean, I guess you could all wear the anonymous masks. They'll still get you from your cell phone signal and the car that you parked nearby and your Wi-Fi and your tweets and everything. New technologies, gait recognition. You can put a bag over your head, gait recognition. Honest to God, real thing. Gait recognition. FBI is going to have the most remarkable biometrics database. And there's now something called biometrics from a distance. They can shoot your iris from a distance. Iris on the move, it's called. So they've got the biometrics, beep, they know who you are. Fingerprint analysis from a distance. Honest to God, it's a thing. I want to know if you're lying. I want to see if your pulse rate changes when I question you. There are cameras that see your pulse rate through the veins in your face and your head and tell me the probability if you're lying. I can look at you with glasses that change the wavelength on what I'm seeing, and it will give me the probability of whether you're lying or telling the truth. And if I match that, by the way, with voice stress analysis, the accuracy goes up. Eye tracking lie detection. Now here's the spookiest thing. This was developed to catch pedophiles. You have a naked, abused kid in a pedophilia photo, and these photos are traded all over the place. They wanted a way to be able to see who the kid was looking at. And they developed a technology that allows to de-blur the iris and to see what face the person is looking at. This is a real thing now. This is legitimate. You can Google, this is the scholarly paper, identifiable images of bystanders extracted from corneal reflections. This is a real thing. These are technologies that are coming along. Antibody tracing, better and faster than DNA from a distance. Interpretation of activity and behavior. This by itself should be an entire presentation. But here's examples. An Air Force civilian employee moves stock holdings from Boeing to Airbus. You check flights to Iran right before a bombing. You buy a book on fighting cancer. If you buy a book on fighting cancer, it's because you have cancer or somebody you care about has cancer. You rent a gay porno movie. You're probably gay. Not a big extrapolation. You put an address into MapQuest. My favorite is, during the course of a year, you're sitting next to the same woman on a plane 4 times, and she's not your wife. Obvious. Obvious. Fill a prescription. There are programs right now, Nora, Advise, other analytic programs that take all your data and connect links. There was a great thing that I saw some guy in Yale put together, a relationship thing that shows how if this stuff existed during the American Revolution, all of the leaders of the American Revolution would have been identified and arrested. And it was links to Paul Revere. It was brilliant. Really, really brilliant. Money, bioscans. We have right now in our system your physical location during the past 60 days extracted from online stuff. These are just 2 examples. Your possible associates, your financial relationships. This is stuff that I do right now in-house. This is stuff that I do. Personality profile, firearms ownership. This is an example, this is an old example of relationship. This is the Enron scandal, and they took all the emails and put up a relationship grid, and this is the person who had all the knowledge. And sure enough, the FBI figured that out and the SEC, after about 5 years of investigation, this figured it out after 24 hours of analysis. See through your clothes from a mile away. This is a real thing now, being developed for the military. For those of you that actually, read between the lines, let me tell you, HTML5 and internet and IP numbers version 6 are going to make you eminently more identifiable. Every device that you have, they're going to be able to give a unique IP address to. Every device. No more pulling it from a pool, no more recycling numbers. It's going to be a whole new thing. Super cookies. And finally, and this is the last and most insidious thing, what General Petraeus called an Internet of Things. And an Internet of Things is a real thing. CIA, NSA, DEA, larger local police forces are all looking at data and profiling and activity extracted from devices in your car and in your home. I'm not going to go through all of this, but it is amazing. Amazing. Smart homes, smart cars. Smart cars, by the way, are going to be running Android or iOS. Smart watches. These damn Android watches. You are strapping a tracking device to your wrist. If the NSA came to you and said, I want you to strap a tracking device to your wrist like you're a condor or one of these, a moose or a bear or something, there would be a revolution. But you do it for Google? Really? You do it for Sergey Brin? I don't get it. Health monitoring. This is the new thing with Apple. Apple wants to know your workout schedule, the medications you take, everything. And there's even a sensor now that old people can swallow in old age homes, in care homes, that will tell from analysis of stomach contents for an entire month, did they remember to take their medicine? Also what they ate, and if they had a shot of bourbon when Nurse Ratched wasn't looking. Look, everybody knows the Target hack. The Target hack was done, I mean, not just through the Chinese restaurant menu, but because they had a backdoor access to the network through the HVAC system. Huh? Correct. Correct. It was through the vendor. It was through the vendor. They got into the vendor and then they got further in. That's absolutely correct. It's not an important distinction, though. Okay. No, it's really not. I mean, they got in through a non-traditional method. Here is a milk jug that tells you if the milk is spoiled and if you need to buy more milk. Here is a networked oven. You're at work. You can preheat your oven from your iPhone while you're on the train, which also tells me you've preheated your oven. Nest Labs, which, by the way, I understand has now been bought by Google. It tells, is somebody in the room? And it adjusts the thermostat. And it reports on the activity remotely. And by the way, there was a flaw. You got to read between the lines if you're a good hacker. There was a flaw that if you waved your hand, you know, if the alarm went off, there was a feature that if you waved your hand, it would stop screeching if you were like smoking a big cigar and everything was fine. The problem was if kids were running around in the house, it deactivated it. So they went into everybody's nest remotely and deactivated the feature. Reached right into your house, deactivated a feature in your thermostat. This is a thermostat that reports to Google if anybody's in the room of your house. Network trash cans. As an investigator, I do something called trash runs, garbology. If I really want to know about you, I steal your garbage. The biggest problem is, even if you know the trash pickup, you got to go there with your waders on and crappy clothes and the big kitchen gloves and every frickin' night. Okay, no more. There's now a sensor that tells if the trash can is full. I'll know you filled up the trash can. I'll go grab your trash. Okay. Ridiculous. You have to be the worst mother in the world to use this, but this is a Huggies diaper that tweets you when the baby is wet. Everything is being networked. Everything. Your baby's ass is now on Bluetooth. Your baby's ass is now on Bluetooth. It's not a joke. Your stuff is ratting you out. Okay, quick recap. Number one, whenever you put information out there, it's gone. It's gone. You no longer have control over it. You literally don't own it. And you've signed it away by agreeing to terms of service that are 97 pages long and you have no desire to read. Your flashlight app is giving up rights to your microphone and your camera and your location on your phone, as a ridiculous example. Most data available is information that you created and you self-contributed. If there's one thing that I want you to walk away from this talk believing, is that you need to stop oversharing. You need to stop tweeting. The only thing you should make an exception is Steve Rambam's new TV show. Everybody's got to watch it. Other than that, stop tweeting. Stop Facebooking. Stop giving your stuff up to Google. Use search engines like DuckDuckGo that saves nothing. Use anonymizers. Even if it means the NSA is going to follow you, use Tor. Be clever. Make browser fingerprinting hard. For every data point on you that the U.S. government has, and law enforcement has, and governmental entities have, I guarantee you that private industry has 50 to 100 data points. It is 50 to 1. And you should care about that, first of all, because they have this data, and second of all, because government, with its one little piece of data, now has access also to those 50 pieces of data, and either consensually or not consensually. Anybody who wants to use the video, the presentation, you have my absolute unreserved waiver. You can use it. No copyright, non-commercial purposes. I mean, if you're going to start showing this in a movie and charging tickets, I want a piece of the action.